I'm Niamh Cassidy, a former social care worker who, after having my own children, found a calling as a childbirth educator and lactation consultant. Back when I started this journey, I faced the same challenges many of you might be experiencing right now, struggling to get enough clients to make my business viable long term. I knew in my heart that I had the skills and knowledge to make a difference, but the thought of marketing and selling left me feeling a bit uneasy. I didn't want to compromise my authenticity and values just to attract clients. I invested in trainings and mentorships, and I tried various strategies that I learned, but it often felt like I couldn't implement a lot of it because what I was being taught didn't match my values as a birth and postpartum worker. That's when I decided to take matters into my own hand. I embarked on a mission to learn, to experiment, and to find ethical and authentic ways to share my expertise, support my clients, and build a sustainable practice. Today, I'm proud to say that I run a thriving private practice, and I'm here to share my insights with all of you to help you to do the same. Join me on this journey as I help you bridge the gap between your passion for supporting new parents and the success you deserve. Together, we'll discover the power of ethical, authentic, and effective approaches, not only to make a living, but also to make a positive impact in the world of birth and postnatal care. Let's get started on this empowering journey together. Hi, welcome back everyone. I hope you're all having a fabulous day. Now, before we get started on this really shorty episode, but it's absolutely jam-packed full of value, you're really going to want to listen to this. But just before we get into it, I wanted to let you know that I am so super excited because I'm creating the most amazing free event for you all. I can't go into it in too much detail yet, but I've been watching, I've been learning, I've been finding out about exactly what it is that you all need, and this is going to be epic. It'll be happening in April, so keep an eye on my Instagram or into our Facebook group for when the sign up opens. You're really not going to want to miss this. It might just change your life, and I am absolutely so excited about it. But for today, let's kick off on this topic about how to stop making crap content. I'm sorry, I'm just seeing so many SHIT posts out there that could have been good if you just knew a few small principles to follow. And because DMing everyone just isn't practical, I decided I better make a podcast episode about it so that you can learn and I don't have to worry about people's content so much. Now, before you start scrolling through my content, I can make crap content too. I'm not immune. Sometimes it's just laziness, and sometimes I forget these principles myself. So don't go DMing me saying that I've made these mistakes too, because I know I have. And if while you're listening, you are thinking, oh my, I've made these mistakes, she's calling me out, I'm absolutely not. Listen, don't worry. We all have to learn. Your content doesn't live for very long anyway, so just learn a little bit, take what you can from it, take from what you want from it, so that any new content you create doesn't make the same mistakes as well. But I'm not trying to shame you, I'm not giving out to you, just we all have to learn and implement our learnings as well, and I'm just trying to support you all to do that in every way that I can. But let's get started. The first and most important thing is that your content should always be designed with your audience in mind. It should always be designed in relation to the people who are your potential clients. It's not about you, it's about them. You don't need to be, look at me with all my logos and all the pictures of myself all over the place. Are they needed? Yes. But not on every single slide and every bit of your reel and on every post that you do. Also, it's not actually about what you want to say, it's about what your audience wants to hear. Take, for example, I saw a doula's Instagram account the other day. She's not following me, so it's probably not you. And all she's doing right now is bombarding her followers with generic, but slightly scary if you're pregnant, birth statistics. Honestly, this is not what your audience wants or needs to see, at least not all of the time. So instead, imagine she created really interesting and attractive graphics or reels, sharing really gorgeous birth stories or really helpful tips, the things that can actually help the people not become one of those birth statistics, but that they actually want to engage with, they actually want to see. By focusing on the needs and desires of her actual audience, she'd be more likely to capture their attention and engagement rather than primarily just the attention and engagement of other birth workers. Another so important principle is that less is often more when it comes to crafting awesome content. Now, I don't mean to post less, I mean put less information in your posts. Our brains can only process so much information at once, and too many distractions can lead to disengagement. I've seen a bunch of introduction posts recently that has so much text on the image my brain hurts. I'd have to zoom in to read it all, and I don't even know which part or which piece of text I'm supposed to start with. Another one I saw recently had so many animations, my head was spinning around in circles. So less is more, my friends. Instead of cluttered text and chaotic visuals, deliver your message with clarity and use space around the text to draw attention to the key points and the key messages that you want to make. Because by giving your content room to breathe, you can ensure that your audience does stay focused and receptive to what you're trying to say, rather than scaring them away with chaos. This brings us nicely on to the fact that you need to break down your ideas into manageable steps. I know, you've so much you want to share, and that's okay. Just don't do it all in one post. So instead of overwhelming them with a 10-slide carousel with loads of text in them and a full-length caption or a 5-minute reel about breastfeeding, you could create a series of posts, infographics or reels, each one highlighting a different aspect or a different point you wanted to make. By breaking it down into more digestible pieces, your audience, your potential clients are more likely to stay engaged and to want more. So if there's something that you really have a lot to say about, you could do it and stay at the start of it. This is a 3-part reel, or this is a 3-part series. Come back tomorrow for section 2, and then you're building that engagement, you're bringing people back to your profile. So on the topic of educating again, I know we love to educate our audience, but here's the reality. There's a lot of education out there, and your content isn't just competing with other businesses trying to educate in the same way, but also it's competing with the endless stream of entertainment from friends, family, viral memes and reels. To stand out, you really do need to entertain as much as inform. I'm not saying we all have to learn TikTok dances. I know I'm not going to be doing that. But ask yourself, when I was pregnant or newly postpartum, would I have actually enjoyed looking at this? Would it have made me stop to look at it? If the answer is no, you might want to shake things up a bit. So think about infusing your content with relatable stories or interesting or fun visuals or ways your audience can interact. By creating content that resonates on a lovely personal level, you can capture the hearts and minds of your audience and keep them coming back for more. That's the whole point. You want to keep them coming back to your profile and taking in more content. Right, so even though I'm saying make your content more entertaining, it's still there to serve a purpose, okay? One of the main purposes is to get people to become your clients, to book in with you. So I just want to really briefly talk about the RACE marketing framework. If you haven't heard about it before, RACE stands for reach, act, convert, and engage. And this approach is about taking your audience through the entire customer journey, from initial awareness, so finding out who you are, to long-term engagement and hopefully ultimately booking with you. So first up is reach. This is about getting your message in front of the right audience and as many of the right audience as you can. So think of it casting a wide net to attract potential clients. So for example, a childbirth educator might use targeted Facebook ads to reach expectant parents in her local area. By promoting her content to this specific demographic, she increases the likelihood of attracting people who are interested in her actual services. But you don't need to use ads, because Ads are expensive, and particularly Facebook ads for return on investment are very expensive. But what you could do is be really location specific in your content to support the algorithm and to show locals that this account is for them. So if you have in-person services, you want people who are within the vicinity of you to see your content. We want to create the type of content that has the intent on bringing in new followers. So posting about your classes doesn't really bring in new followers. You want things that are interesting and engaging, like we talked about before, that's going to bring in new followers so you can cast that really wide net. Next, we have ACT. And this stage focuses on encouraging your audience to take a specific action, such as signing up for one of your freebies or for your newsletter or for attending a free event with you. So imagine a lactation consultant is hosting a live webinar on breastfeeding tips for new mothers. And by promoting the webinar on social media, giving out the link, she's encouraging her audience to act by signing up for the event and engaging with her brand, with her services. So we've reached lots of people. Now we're getting them to act by signing up for something or by doing something. So moving on to convert. This is where you turn interested prospective clients into actual clients. So let's go back to that example again, where we did the free webinar on breastfeeding tips. So during this free webinar, the lactation consultant is providing really valuable advice. She's demonstrating her expertise. And by doing that, she's showcasing the value of her services and building trust with the client. And by doing that, she increases the likelihood of that person watching the webinar, attending the webinar, actually booking in with her either now for an antenatal visit or for a full breastfeeding class, or postnatally when they actually have their baby. If they need a lactation consultant, they're going to think, well, I want to go to her. Then the last part of the RACE framework is engage. This stage is all about fostering long-term relationships with your clients and keeping them engaged with your brand. So you want your clients to become your advocates. You want them to stay interested in your content for as long as you can, because the more they look at it, the more they share it, the more they share with their friends who are now pregnant, then that's going to boost your reputation and start bringing in more people into your brand over time. So let's just wrap up this really, really short episode by remembering that it's time to stop making crap content. Your audience deserves better, and so do you. So try and prioritize quality over quantity in your posts. Entertain as much as you inform, and just remember to keep your audience front and center in your content creation process, and less about you and more about them. It's been lovely chatting with you again, and I'll talk to you next week. If you enjoyed or benefited from today's podcast, please leave a review on your favourite listening platform. And if you need help in standing out as a birth or postpartum worker, download our free guide, 10 Steps to Stand Out and Get More Bookings. The link is in the show notes. Don't forget to download your totally free copy of the Birth Workers Business Playbook, now available for a limited time only. So check out the show notes to get your link and get your copy.